Hey guys, my name is Valdes, and we've been getting a lot of requests on this, so today we are going to be talking about how we grind with our Sacrifice Paladin. So when it comes to combat time grinding, normally you would like to go for skills with AoE or skills that are able to eliminate mobs with a single hit. Now, so why do we want that? Because as soon as you engage in combat, your combat time starts to run. And while your combat time is running, you would want to eliminate as many mobs as you can. But it's not always gonna be ideal to always be running AoE or always to be running single target hits. Now, it depends. So which skill you use will normally depend on what spot you're grinding at. So for Squidgets, Grand Cross is pretty good. Shield Chain is also very good if you're going for a shield build. But I wouldn't really recommend Shield Boomerang. Why? Because the Squidgets here on this map, for some reason, they're very inconsistent with how they spawn. Now, so sometimes they spawn in such a way that only 2 Squidgets get bounced around with your Shield Boomerang. Sometimes all 3 of them get hit by your Shield Boomerang. But from my experience, it's very inconsistent in how they spawn. So sometimes they're a little bit far apart. Sometimes they're tightly packed together. No, it really depends. Even if you have an Earth Lord, they still spawn irregularly. So the most consistent skills for using or for grinding Squidgets in general. No, so Squidgets is going to be your most essential card for Sacrifice Paladin. I would highly recommend going for Grand Cross or Shield Chain. So our guildmate Scaff here is using Grand Cross. So it's proving to be pretty effective. He's able to take down the Squidgets with just 3 taps. Another thing to also consider is the respawn time of these mobs. Now, sometimes some mobs take a little bit more time to respawn, or some spots rather. But there are also some spots where the mobs respawn instantaneously. So which means you're able to get a higher rate of kills on the mob, which results in more EXP, more combat time that you're using efficiently. So where does that leave our Sacrifice Paladin? So with the 2 aforementioned builds, there are actually 2 stats that are very important for that kind of grinding. So that's gonna be your Ignore Physical Def stat, your Ignore Magic Defense stat for your Grand Cross build, and also your PvE damage bonus stat. So when we transition to our Sacrifice Paladin build, one of the main things that we had to switch up was our feathers. No, so when changing our feathers, we wanted to optimize for more sacrifice damage. No, we want to optimize for more PvP stats. We wanted to optimize to be a little bit more tanky. But the 2 things that I had to give up were my Sky and Day feathers, where you get a lot of Ignore Physical Defense and a lot of Magic Defense, as well as a lot of PvE damage bonus. The main stats that we need for grinding efficiently and effectively using Grand Cross, Shield Chain, Shield Boomerang. So from what I remember, my Ignore Physical Defense dropped all the way down to 321 from around 700, almost 800 Ignore Physical Defense. And my PvE damage bonus dropped a whopping 700 points. No, I think we were hitting around 1,300 something or so PvE damage bonus, pushing 1,400 PvE damage bonus. So by losing these stats, by losing our Ignore Physical Defense, by losing our PvE damage bonus, which we get from both Sky Feathers and Day Feathers, my damage on Shield Chain and Shield Boomerang dropped by half. No, almost by half. Which means I wouldn't be able to grind as effectively as our friend Scaff here. So I would not be able to one-shot the mobs using my Shield Chain, and I wouldn't be able to clear the mobs fast enough with my Shield Boomerang or my Grand Cross. So I am then forced to use Sacrifice as my main grinding skill. So this is currently how we grind with our Sacrifice Paladin. So Sometimes I'm hearing people saying that they're unable to use Sacrifice for grinding because they die. Now, normally they're not able to heal quite enough. They're not able to sustain the damage that they receive from Sacrifice. That's why I think it's very essential that you have this Verus core called Matier's Reckoning Protocol. It reduces the damage that Sacrifice deals to yourself. Of course, needless to say, you also need to have a Rue Blue Spear, even if it's not at plus 15. So it already has that innate ability to deal 30% less damage to yourself using Sacrifice. For pets, it's very important that you use Sohi. Now, even Baphomet Jr. will not be able to keep up. Why? Because the mobs die too fast and your Baphomet Jr. isn't able to attack the mobs fast enough for you to be able to heal from the Sacrifice damage. If you're still having trouble surviving using your Matier's Reckoning or Sacrifice for grinding, one card that would help you very much is the Hunter Fly card. So get 2 of these and try to awaken both up to 3-star. This would help you out tremendously. Another thing that could prove very necessary, not just for your PvE grinding, but also for your PvP, are sigils. Now, so the sigils that we're running right here are all defensive sigils. Now, we're not running any offensive sigils. We're not running Weakness Gaze. We're not running Choice Maze. Now, although we do run Choice Maze for MVP hunts, 100% running only defensive sigils. So right now, what I have here is Silver Soul, Unexpected Rescue, Deadlock Aurora, Immortal Body. So these sigils actually all do the same thing. No, they all heal. No, they all heal. Deadlock, Aurora, and Unexpected Rescue are just higher and lower tier counterparts of each other. So my other sigils also help you with healing. You know, Silver Soul restores 5% of your max HP per second for 5 seconds. And then Immortal Body also heals you for 5% of your max HP but for 10 seconds. So as you see, you know, all 4 of our passive sigils are all focused on healing. So we're able to sustain our Sacrifice damage without any trouble whatsoever. So another hot topic about Sacrifice Paladin, or probably the most controversial topic about the Sacrifice Paladin, is it still worth it to go Sacrifice Paladin without having a plus 15 weapon? Let's say you have a plus 14, plus 12, plus 10 weapon. Is it still worth running Sacrifice Paladin? And my own personal opinion and my answer is gonna be yes. No, it will still be very worth it to run Sacrifice Paladin even when you don't have a plus 15 weapon. So having plus 15 on your Rue Blue Spear enables your Sacrifice or Matier's Reckoning to no longer have a usage limit within its duration. Its duration being around 15 seconds. Matier's Reckoning or Sacrifice has a cooldown of 5 seconds. So now it comes to a matter of how many hits are you able to dish out within that 5-second cooldown if you don't have a plus 15 Blue Spear. So with the usual Paladin build, normally people run 99 Vitality and then maybe the rest into Agility. You run maybe a Vitality Necklace or Golden Foot Ring, which we will also be going for when we get it. Like us, you probably don't have the Momentum Management module Verus Core. No, so I still don't have a Momentum Management module Verus Core, which means you probably will not be hitting maximum attack speed. Now, just as we are, we're hitting around 476 attack speed. We're not able to hit the 500 attack speed cap. With all the RNG involved in Ragnarok Origin, we're not going to be having the exact same stats as other players. Now, so with my Paladin, for example, we're able to dispatch Squidgets with 3 hits each. Right? So, which means even if I had a plus 6 and not a plus 15 Rue Blue Spear, I'd still be able to hit within the 7 hit count of Matier's Reckoning on a refined 6 Rue Blue Spear. I'd be able to carry over 1 more Matier's Reckoning hit on the next squidget. In which case, after the 7 hits that I've already dished out of Mateer's Reckoning, how much cooldown is gonna be left on your Mateer's Reckoning cooldown? If the answer is 2 seconds, 3 seconds, which is very common from what I've seen, then the DPS difference wouldn't be too big. If we're talking about PvE, we're talking about grinding, then it does not matter. In PvE grinding, if you're just grinding for EXP and combat time, we're not really competing against other players. You get what I mean? The EXP difference isn't gonna be extremely huge as well. And this is comparing it to a Sacrifice Paladin with a plus 15 spear. But if we were gonna be comparing it to, let's say, something like a Holy Cross Paladin with the same investment, I'd say it's gonna be very competitive, even if you don't have a plus 15 Rublu spear. So why do I say this? It's because it's very cheap to build the Sacrifice Paladin. You just go for these green cards here. No, on our accessories, we're running Muka cards. Very easy to farm. We're running a Martin card on our headgear. No, so it's very cheap to build. No, as compared to something like maybe Holy Cross, where you'd want to run Swift Mantis cards, which are very rare and also not very easy to grind. You'd want a huge load of Ignore Defense. You'd want a lot of stats, no, just to be able to maximize it, just to make it competitive at least. Whereas if you run Sacrifice Paladin, all you have to focus on is raising your max HP, raising your vitality, and your attack speed. Now that's pretty much it. No, it's very straightforward and very easy to build. Hey, my idol Citan is giving me EXP. Let's go. Citan, my idol. So in my opinion, more than the plus 15 weapon, I think one of the more concerning things is on how to survive. Now, how to be able to sustain yourself while grinding using Sacrifice Paladin. And I think we've already addressed that. So I hope this video is able to help you guys. No, I've been getting that question so much. No, like on what do we use for grinding? How are we not dying? No, so hopefully you guys are able to watch this video, and if you guys want to see more of our Paladin, no, like this video, no, and then subscribe to our channel so that you don't miss out on the next videos. But of course, as always, take most, if not everything I say with a grain of salt. I am by no means a veteran or an expert in all of this. No, I'm just a player. Like you guys, I'm just learning it the same way you guys are, watching videos, learning it from friends, learning it from people we look up to. So we're all in this journey together. So if you guys have more insight to share with us, be sure to leave it in our comment section. If you guys think that we're saying things wrong, or if there are some things that I still don't know as well, and you guys want to help us out, please do leave it in our comment section. I personally also ask for advice all the time from our peers, from other YouTubers. They help us with our Paladin build. So there, like, subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and I hope to see you guys on the next one.